Hey there, my Holmes Hawks. Today we were talking about solving systems of linear equations by substitution. Now we're going to add this into our notes. Remember, throughout this video, there's this power of this pause button on the for you to press whenever you're ready to write down anything or rewind anything. Pause, do what you need to do, get this in your notes. All right, go ahead and add this title into your notes. Substitution of linear equations. The essential question that you will be able to answer by the end of the day in your own words is, why would you want to use substitution to solve linear equations? Your own words. All right, here are the 3 steps that we are going to go through each time to solve a system by substitution. Be sure to pause your video here and write down these 3 steps. Let's go through the 3 steps and an example. No, you don't have to write this in your notes. Make sure you're just paying attention while we're going through. So step 1 is to solve for a variable. Our 2 variables for this problem happen to be y and x. So we need to have y or x equaling whatever's on the other side. Do we already have that? Yes, we do, and we have that in equation 1 because it says y equals. This is the one that we're going to substitute in. Step 2 tells us to go ahead and substitute the first equation into the first variable into the second equation. So we are going to plug in what y is equal to into the equation, which will happen to look like this. Here's where you plugged it in. You take our y and we're going to plug it in right here. And no, we don't put in the whole y equals, we just put this part because it says y is 2x minus 4. So we can put 2x minus 4 into y for equation 2. Now we're going to go through what we know on how to solve equations with one variable. That means we're going to go through P, C, SAD, me, meaning parentheses. Do we have parentheses to undo? Yes, we do. So the next thing we need to do is distributive property. Do we have any like terms to combine? Yes, we do. So we are going to combine our like terms. All right. Like terms combined, do we have subtraction or addition to undo? Yeah, we have a plus 8. So we're going to take away from both sides. Multiplication and division, do we have that? Yes, we do. So we're going to divide by 3. And we will get that x is -1. No more exponents, so we are done. We only solve for x. Now, step 3 is that we need to solve for y. For this problem, we first solve for x. Now for our second problem, we are going to solve for y. That's what it means by find the first variable, find the second variable. So to find our second variable, we are going to take what we found for y and plug it back in to one of these 2 equations. Plug it back into one of these 2 equations. Which one you plug it into, it's up to you, but I do suggest you use the easiest equation out of y equals 2x minus 4 and 7x minus 2y equals 5. The first one looks the easiest, so go with that one. That is what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and plug in -1 into y equals 2x minus 4. And then we're going to finish solving for y. So multiplication is what we're going to undo first. We'll complete first. Then we're going to complete subtraction. And we will get that y equals -6. Since we found y equals -6 and x equals -1, did we find the answer to our system? And then remember, answers to systems always come in x, y, -1, comma, -6. Maybe. Let's go through and check. How do we make sure that we did check, that we get our answer right? We go through and we substitute back into our equations. Let me go through and erase that because we can't see. We substitute back into our equations, and yes, -6 equals -6, 5 equals 5. If you needed to pause this video, please do go back and rewind if you need to do that as well. Alright, gang, let's go ahead and try those steps with 3 new examples. Our first example, we need to have it so that it says y or x equals everything else on the other side. Everything needs to be on one side. Okay, do we have y equals? Yep. Do we have y equals? Yep. Both of these are okay for what we're going to do. Alright, our second step is that we are going to substitute y in for y. So we're going to substitute y in for y. To solve for x, we're wanting to find x equals. Out of our 2 equations, 5x is the easiest one to work with because it's one operation. We're going to substitute that in for y because it says y equals 5x. No longer will this one say y, it will say 5x equals 2x plus 3. Alright, we solve for x. So we're going to use PC. Sad me. Parentheses, no. Like terms, yes. On opposite sides, we're going to take away. 5 minus 2x is 3x equals 3. Alright. Division or multiplication, yes. Undo multiplication with division. X equals 1. Alright, x equals 1. Now we're going to take for our last step, x, and plug x in for x to find y. Out of these 2 equations, equation 1 and equation 2, which one looks the easiest to plug x into? Equation 2, because it has one operation. Solve for y. Y equals 5 times 1, because x is 1. 5 times 1 is 5. Y equals 5. We found our ordered pair, or we hope we did. 1, 5 in parentheses. How can we check that this is our answer? By plugging it in and seeing if it works out. So our first equation, we have 5 equals 2 times 1 plus 3. 5 equals 2 plus 3. Does 5 equal 5? Yes. The second equation we're going to plug it into is 5 equals 5 times 1. Does 5 equal 5? Yes. Bam, we did it. Here's our answer. All right, let's move quickly on to the next problem. I'll erase all of this so I have more room. All right, number 2, first step. Have one of the equations say x or y equals. X or y equals blah, 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 blah. Does this one have x or y equals? No. So let's check out our next one. Does this one have x or y equals? Yes, it has y equals. Step 2, we're going to plug y in for y to solve for x. Y equals 1/2 x minus 5. So we're going to plug this puppy into y right here. Rewrite it so we can solve for x. 4x plus 2 parentheses. This whole thing needs to be multiplied by 2. 1/2 x minus 5 equals 0. 4x plus 2 came from our first equation. We substituted y in. 0 came from our first equation. All right, PC, sad me. Parentheses, yes. Distribute 4x plus 2 times 1/2 is 1. So x minus 2 times 5 is 10 equals 0. All right, like terms, yep, we have 4x and we have x. 4x plus x is 5x minus 10 equals 0. Subtraction or addition, yep. Add 10, 5x equals 10. Division, multiplication, yes. Divide by 5, x equals 2. X equals 2. Step 3, substitute x in for x, solve for y, x in for x. Out of the two equations, which one looks like it's easier to solve for x? Solve with x known. The second one, we're going to plug it in. 1/2 times 2, I didn't pull that number out of nowhere, I'm grabbing it from what I do know, minus 5. 1/2 times 2 is 1. 1 minus 5 is -4. Y equals -4. Let's go ahead and check our answer. 4 times 2 plus 2 times -4 equals 0. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 2 is 8. Positive times negative is negative. Does 0 equal 0? Yep. All right, next one. Y -4 equals 1/2 x minus, oh sorry, x that needs to be filled in. 1/2 times 2 minus 5. 1/2 times 2 is 1 minus 5 is -4. Did that work out? Yep. Our solution for the problem is 2, -4. Again, 2, -4. All right, go ahead and try the third problem on your own. I will show you the answer in the next slide. Pause your video right now. Pause your video. Try this third problem on your own in your paper. Pause your video. All right. The answer to that very last problem was parentheses x is 1/2, y is -1/2. Now let's go ahead and talk about a system that doesn't have x or y equals. That first step, you easily fix it by getting one of the variables alone by yourself, which we've talked about a lot. This one's the easiest one because y has no coefficient in front of it. We're going to take away 2x from both sides, take away 2x from both sides. Y equals -2x plus 5. And now you can go through those 3 steps. Well, technically that's step number 1. And solve for it. But don't do it for this problem. Skip this problem. This one is a better one for when we talk about the graphing calculator. I just wanted to point out really quickly how you could solve it when it's not put into that x or y equals. Please go through. The last thing you need to do is answer that essential question, and please go through and do that now. Have a great night.